Welcome back to A Safe Place. If you're new here, my name is Mariah, and I am so glad that you're joining us today. We are currently in the book of Daniel for the month of February in 2026, if you're looking to follow along in real time. And today we are in Daniel 10. This chapter is one about a vision that Daniel receives from God that's like extremely overwhelming, but God sends a messenger to strengthen him. So let's see who that is. In the 3rd year of Cyrus, king of Persia, a word was revealed to Daniel, who was named Belteshazzar. And the word was true, and it was a great conflict. And he understood the word and had understanding of the vision. In those days, I, Daniel, was mourning for 3 weeks. I ate no delicacies, no meat or wine entered my mouth, nor did I anoint myself at all for the full 3 weeks. On the 24th day of the 1st month, as I was standing on the bank of the great river, that is the Tigris, I lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a man clothed in linen with a belt of fine gold from Uphaz around his waist. His body was like beryl, his face like the appearance of lightning, his eyes like flaming torches, his arms and legs like the gleam of burnished bronze. And the sound of his words like the sound of a multitude. And I, Daniel, alone saw the vision. For the men who were with me did not see the vision, but a great trembling fell upon them, and they fled to hide themselves. So I was left alone and saw this great vision. And no strength was left in me. My radiant appearance was fearfully changed, and I retained no strength. Then I heard the sound of his words, and as I heard the sound of his words, I fell on my face in deep sleep, with my face to the ground. And behold, a hand touched me, and set me trembling on my hands and knees. And he said to me, O Daniel, man greatly loved, understand the words that I speak to you, and stand upright. For now I have been sent to you. And when he had spoken this word to me, I stood up trembling. Then he said to me, Fear not, Daniel, for from the first day that you set your heart to understand and humbled yourself before your God, your words have been heard. And I have come because of your words. The prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days, but Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me. For I was left there with the kings of Persia, and came to make you understand what is to happen to your people in the latter days. For the vision is for days yet to come. When he had spoken to me according to these words, I turned my face toward the ground and was mute. And behold, one in the likeness of the children of man touched my lips. Then I opened my mouth and spoke. I said to him who stood before me, O my Lord, by reason of the vision pains have come upon me, and I retain no strength. How can my Lord's servant talk with my Lord? For now no strength remains in me, and no breath is left in me. Again, one having the appearance of man touched me and strengthened me. And he said, O man greatly loved, fear not. Peace be with you. Be strong and of good courage. And as he spoke to me, I was strengthened, and said, Let my Lord speak, for you have strengthened me. Then he said, Do you know why I have come to you? But now I will return to fight against the prince of Persia. And when I go out, behold, the prince of Greece will come. But I will tell you what is inscribed in the book of truth. There is none who contends by my side against these except Michael, your prince. That's pretty crazy, huh? There's so much in that. I don't know what this says, but also, if you're ever wondering, I usually read from like a study of some sort. I have like a couple that are my favorites to read from, and they're always listed in the description box. So if you're ever looking for the resources that I use, they're always down there. I don't always put the specific one because I'll use multiple. Sometimes I'll add them all in together and sometimes I don't. But yeah. Okay. Under Cyrus, Israel's captivity had come to an end, and many Jewish exiles had returned to occupy Jerusalem. But God revealed to Daniel that Israel's future would continue to be filled with conflict. This news caused him to mourn and put everything aside in order to seek God and pray. God responded to Daniel's prayer by sending a vision, and his messenger explaining future events and encouraging him. The prince of Persia and the prince of Greece are thought to be Satan's demons, who oppose God's messengers. The angel pulled back the earthly curtain and gave Daniel a view of spiritual activity triggered by the prayer of God's people. Prayer is spiritual warfare activated by those who love God. Because the Lord hears and responds when we call on him, we should be motivated to talk with him in both good times and bad. How would you describe your communication with God? You may never know what spiritual activity your prayers have prompted or the hidden battles being fought on your behalf. God will give you the strength to pray and continue praying as you look to him and wait for his answer. Commit to consistently attending the battle and persistent in prayer for God's will. So that's interesting. The Prince of Persia and the Prince of Greece are thought to be Satan's demons. In my like small study prior to doing this, I didn't see that in any of those, but like that would make sense to a degree. I'm sure it's something that scholars debate about. But what I loved here was in verse 5 when he sees a man clothed in linen with a belt of fine gold, and his body and face were appearing as lightning, and his eyes like flaming torches, and his arms and legs like bronze. We see that same picture in Revelation, and it's Jesus. And I think that's so cool. And it would make sense. I mean, that is Jesus. That's how I read that. I know that it's a vision, and a lot of people feel differently, especially since it's in the Old Testament. But yeah, I read that and I was like, oh, it's Jesus. And then the other part of that too that points that out to me is the fact that it says, and the sounds of his words like the sound of a multitude, which would make sense, right? Because he is God. And so he is a triune being. He is 3 in 1. Anywho, I love Daniel's heart posture throughout this entire book. We've just seen that over and over again, that his answer to confusion, his answer to fear, his answer to misunderstanding or lack of knowledge is to seek God, is to fast and pray. So just another encouragement to fast, and I'm saying that for myself too. I mean, we're currently in the Lenten season. So if that's something that your church does and you haven't joined in on that, or if you want to look into fasting, I highly recommend doing so. Last year, I believe during Lent, we had talked about it, but so I hope this chapter encouraged you to take whatever struggles or battles you're facing straight to the feet of Jesus. I pray that you have the absolute most blessed Wednesday, and I will see you back here for chapter 11 tomorrow. Bye.